Hey everyone, welcome to the top 10 list. Welcome to my top 10 best and worst slasher films. Slasher! Off with their heads. Yes, I've done my top 10 best and worst horror films, and a lot of people are probably going to be like, why are you doing slasher films? Isn't that just horror films? Yes, slasher films are horror movies, but they're a specific type of horror films. A slasher film is basically about murderers and killers, serial killers and stuff, them killing people and shit. You know, your Jasons and your Freddys and stuff, slasher films. And a lot of people do realize that a lot of my favorite horror films aren't slasher films, like The Thing and Alien, Exorcist, and Conjuring. Those aren't slasher films, so I thought it'd be interesting to do a slasher film list, to show what kind of slasher films I'm into. Simple as that. And yeah, I'm going to be doing my best slasher films in this video. In my next video, I'm going to be doing my top 10 worst slasher films, which there are a lot of. And yeah, and I'm also going to just say this is my last horror-themed video until October. I've been doing a lot of them lately. I tend to do this and stuff, and I get a little carried away, but I need to save the ideas for horror-themed videos for October, because I'm doing them throughout all October. I usually do it all through October and shit. So yeah, this is my next one for the worst slasher movies are going to be my last Halloween or horror-themed videos until October, because I want to save them for Halloween season stuff. So yeah, just say that. So if you guys have more ideas for me to do more horror-themed videos, leave them in the comment section below, and I'll do them in October. So yeah, now that I got that straightened out, let's get to the slashers. This is my top 10 personal favorite slasher movies. Alright, let's get to it. And before top 10, you gotta have your honorable mentions. And my honorable mentions are The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Wes Craven's New Nightmare, Sleepaway Camp, Friday the 13th, Scream 3, Scream 4, The Burning, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, and Child's Play. All great films, just couldn't make the top 10 list, but my top 10 was my number 10. My number 10 is Youre Next. Yes, You Are Next. Great film. This is a great slasher film. This is directed by Adam Wingard, who directed The Guest. The Guest is very debatable if it's a horror or thriller, and if it even is a slasher film, so didn't count The Guest, but I counted Youre Next. Youre Next is a straight slasher film. Basically, it's about this family. They're at this dinner party, and basically they all start getting murdered by these guys wearing creepy-ass masks and stuff, and it's up to one girl, the character Erin, to basically survive this house and this basically night of horror against these serial killers and stuff. Basically, all the characters pretty much die in like the first act, and the whole movie's basically just Erin fighting against these serial killers with these creepy masks and stuff, and basically her fighting for her life, and she's a total badass, and this movie is intense, and it's just a great, fun, entertaining slasher film. It's violent, it's gory, it's over the top, it is just so much fun to watch. Adam Wingard's direction is great. There's a great little twist at the ending that I actually did not see coming. It's actually a pretty nice little twist, and has a cool kick-ass lead character, and it's a fun movie and a fun slasher film. Conan number 9 is a tie between two sequels and very big franchises, and these two movies are both equally great, and they're very different, but I just wanted to put them both as a tie because I wanted them both on the top 10 list, and that's Halloween H2O and The Bride of Chucky. Very different films. One's very darkly comedic, and one's just a really fun slasher film, and I'll start with Halloween H2O. Everyone knows this is one of my favorite Halloween films, other than the original. Great movie. I like Jamie Lee Curtis. I even like Michelle Williams and Josh Hart in the film. I love the movie opens with Joseph Gordon-Levitt getting really fucked up by a hockey skate, and yeah, it's really good. It's a fun movie. The third act, when Laurie is going head-to-head against Michael, is awesome and badass. It's a perfect ending to the whole series. Resurrection just ruins that, just fucking ruins it. But it is a perfect conclusion to the franchise and stuff. I'm very curious to see what they're going to do with the new Halloween film, because it erases everything but the first one, so interesting. I like this movie. I like Jamie Lee Curtis. I like Michael Myers. It's a fun slasher film and just a really fun sequel. So is Bride of Chucky. Bride of Chucky is actually my favorite Chucky film. Child's Play 1 is good. Bride of Chucky is my favorite. It is the most batshit insane film out of the whole franchise, and I don't even love this franchise as a whole. I like the first Child's Play, and I like Bride of Chucky. Those are like my favorites. Probably my only favorites. And Bride of Chucky's so fun. Just it's Chucky and Tiffany, and they're just wrecking shit up, and it's awesome. Freaking Brad Dourif is a lot of fun. Jennifer Tilly is awesome as Tiffany. It has Katherine Heigl in the film, and she's awful, but it's fun seeing her in a movie like this. John Ritter as well, and just some of these characters are just so over the top. It's just fun to watch. It's entertaining. I can understand a lot of people call it a guilty pleasure. It's kind of like that for me. It's silly, ridiculous slasher film with about these two dolls killing people, and it's insane, but it's fucking fun, and just I love both these films. They're both great in their own ways, and yeah, I just wanted to put them both on the list because they're both fun. Coming in number 8 is another tie. Yes, this tie is between two great films again. I love this whole franchise as a whole, and yeah, the first two are the best, and that's Scream 1 and Scream 2. Scream 3 and 4, huge soft spot for them. They're very ridiculous films, but I still really enjoy them. Scream 1 and 2 are actually great films. I like Scream 2 more than Scream 1, but I just want to put them both on this list because I love them as slasher films. They're great horror films, but they're also great satires of horror films. What Wes Craven did with both these films are fantastic. I love the characters. Sidney Prescott's great, Neve Campbell's awesome and everything. Even Gale's great. Courtney Cox Arquette, well, not Arquette anymore, but David Arquette is probably like the weakest character in all these movies. I don't know how the fuck he survives in all these fucking Scream films. He's always getting stabbed and shit. But whatever. First one's great. I love freaking Randy. Randy's like my favorite character. Jamie Kennedy in all these films. He's so great. He's just this nerd who loves movies and everything. And yeah, first one's really great. It's over the top. The whole third act is hilarious with Stu and fucking Billy and Stu. Hilarious. Stu is so over the top, it's absolutely comical. And Scream 2 is my favorite because I thought it was more intense. It was just more of a fun, entertaining slasher film. And the film class scene is one of my favorite scenes in horror films. It's just such a great scene. It's just a bunch of film nerds talking about movies and movie sequels. Just a great scene. And it has Sarah Michelle Gellar and Joshua Jackson in it. So yeah, total 90s right there. And yeah, both films are just really fun comedic films and also fun slasher horror films with good characters, good kills. They're just so fun to watch. Coming in number 7 is we're going way back to the classic era, and that is Peeping Tom. Peeping Tom is really great. I watched this movie for the first time like 7 months ago. Really creepy, very unsettling. Like, this is fucked up. Like, this is very Psycho-inspired. I don't know. Did this movie come out after Psycho? I think it came out after Psycho. So, very noticeable that it's very inspired by Psycho and Hitchcock. It felt like Hitchcock directed this film. It's creepy. It's unsettling. This guy is, like, fascinated taking pictures of women and stuff. And he kills them while he, like, videotapes them and stuff. He likes to watch the videotapes of him killing all these women with his cameras and stuff. And kills one of them with this, like, tripod and shit like that. He's fucking insane, and yeah, it's entertaining. He gives a great performance. I forget the actor's name, but he is so good in this movie. It's a well-shot film. It feels very Hitchcocky in this film, and it's intense, and it's just a really good, classic, unsettling slasher film. And yeah, if you haven't checked it out, because I know a lot of people probably have not seen this film, check it out. It's really good. Coming in number 6 is a Canadian horror film, Black Christmas. Black Christmas is so fucking good. Love this movie. Hated the remake. You'll probably see that in my next list. And great film. This is so good. It's unsettling. It's creepy as shit. Some of the acting is a bit wonky, but it's so intense. And it's very inspirational. It's very iconic and stuff. It made the pave way for horror films to come, and slasher horror films and stalker films and stuff. Halloween was inspired by Black Christmas and stuff. And yeah, the fact that it takes place on Christmas makes it even more unsettling. The killer in this movie, he's scary because he makes these creepy phone calls, and you never see his face, and you never see who he is throughout the whole film. And spoilers, yeah, you don't ever see the killer. They don't catch him at the end. He gets away with it. That makes the movie's so much more terrifying and scary that you never see his face, and you never see what he looks like, and you never ever get to see him get caught. He just does all these murders, and just no one finds him. And it's unsettling, and really unsettling. The kills are unsettling, like when the frickin' lady gets the bag over her face. Very unsettling. And the shit that he says to these girls on the phone is twisted as fuck. And yeah, it's a great film. It's a really, really intense film with some really sharp editing and some genuine scares in this film. And yeah, it's really good. Coming in number 5 is a pretty recent one. Yes, this is a Netflix movie, and that is Mike Flanagan's Hush. Mike Flanagan, love Mike Flanagan. His work is just so great. He's one of the great filmmakers of our generation. He is amazing, and Hush is so good. I love what they did with the sound mixing in this film. It's so good. I like that the movie is about a deaf girl in the middle of nowhere. She's writing, and basically this guy is stalking her. Basically, he kills her neighbors, and he's hunting her down, and she's in the middle of nowhere in this house, and it's just a one-on-one cat-and-mouse fight between the two of them, this serial killer hunter and this deaf girl who cannot scream for help. It's a really great movie. It's got atmosphere. It's got great shots. The way they do sound in this movie, it's so clever. Really well directed. Katie Siegel is so great in this film. John Gallagher Jr. as the serial killer is fantastic. It's got great ending. It's got intense moments. Just an all-around fun slasher film. Coming in number 4 is The Cabin in the Woods. The Cabin in the Woods is one of my all-time favorite horror films. I love this movie. Some people say, is it a slasher film? Yeah, of course. It's a slasher film. I just hit my light. I am sorry. It's a slasher film. It's basically an homage to all classic horror films like Evil Dead and shit. Evil Dead, I don't know if that counts as a slasher film. That's a zombie film, but still. This, because it's everything. It's got murderers, zombies, creatures, and all that shit. It's a slasher film, and it's violent, it's gruesome, it's over the top, it's bloody, and it's a lot of fun. It's got Joss Whedon writing it, it's got Drew Goddard directing it. Still to this day, people never talk about the ending of this film, and I'll still keep it hush-hush, even though I think everyone has seen this film already, but if you haven't, check it out. It's amazing. Coming in number 3 is Psycho. Yes, Psycho. Oh, so good. Alfred Hitchcock. It's amazing. If I'm going technically, this is the best slasher film ever made. Well, best movie ever made on this top 10 list. The reason my number 1 and my number 2 are number 1 and number 2, I think they're better slasher films than Psycho. But Psycho's still a better movie than my number 1 and my number 2. So, just clearing that out. Brilliant movie. Anthony Perkins, Vera Miles, Janet Leigh, all amazing. The shower sequence is one of the great death scenes in all of film. It is terrifying and amazingly shot. How he did the camera angles and actually did not show the knife penetrating her. It's terrifying. The way he did the coloring, the way he did the cinematography and the editing, it's brilliant. The direction's fantastic. The performances are fantastic. The twist is really great. Norman Bates is one of the most sickest and most weirdest and strangest and most fucked up movie villains out there, and he does a great job. Anthony Perkins is amazing in this film. It's a great film. It's one of Alfred Hitchcock's masterpieces. Of course, it's one of the best slasher films. Coming in number 2 is the original Halloween. Yes, 1978 gave us Halloween. Halloween, great movie. It's so good. John Carpenter, what he did with this movie is amazing. The writing, the direction, his score, that do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. It's amazing. The characters are great. Jamie Lee Curtis is great. Some of the acting, again, like Black Christmas, is a bit hokey, but this movie was heavily inspired by Black Christmas, but it actually ended up being better than Black Christmas. The opening tracking shot scene with Michael Myers as a kid is a phenomenal scene, really great scene. It's more scary, it's got a beautiful and compelling score. The ending is fantastic. Donald Pleasence is so good in this film, amazing. I love him as the doctor. My God, I'm blanking on his name. Why am I blanking on his name? Yes, Dr. Loomis. Dr. Loomis. Yes, I had to sit here and blank stare at the camera for 2 minutes to think of his name. Could have Googled it, but I knew his name up there in my brain. I knew deep down his name was Dr. Loomis. Donald Pleasence is great. This movie's fantastic. It's a great slasher film. It's one of the most iconic horror films of all time. It's Halloween. And my number 1 favorite slasher movie, in my opinion, is A Nightmare on Elm Street. A Nightmare on Elm Street, I think, is the definitive slasher film. I think it is. I think Halloween is even a better made film. I think Halloween's a better made movie. I think Psycho is an even way more better made film. A lot of these movies are actually better made than Nightmare on Elm Street. But I think Nightmare on Elm Street is one of the most scariest films. And I think it's the best slasher film. As a slasher film goes, Nightmare on Elm Street is one of the great slasher films. It's Freddy Krueger. He's a guy with a burnt face. He has knives for fingers, and he haunts you in your dreams. It doesn't get any better than that. It's violent, it's sick, it's frightening, it's twisted, it's got creepy imagery, great atmosphere, great characters. It's got Johnny Depp getting sucked up into a bed while blood flies out. What more do you want? Like, Heather Langenkamp is a great character. She's so good in this movie as Nancy Lover. One of my favorite final girls in films, and so well directed. Wes Craven did an amazing job. Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger is masterful. Jackie Earle Haley tried, but there is only one Freddy Krueger, and that is Robert Englund. And Nightmare on Elm Street is one of the great horror films, and I think it's like the definitive slasher film. 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, better lock your doors. 5, 6, get your crucifix. 7, 8, gonna stay up late. 9, 10, never sleep again. So yeah, that was my top 10 best slasher films in my opinion. So in the comment section below, please tell me, did you agree with this top 10 list? If not, give me your top 10 favorite slasher films in your opinion. Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please like, subscribe to this channel, and join the dark side.